Thank you for your interest in our article entitled Racial and Socioeconomic Differences After Implementation of an Enhanced Recovery After Surgery Pathway. This article came about with the context of enhanced recovery after surgery pathways radically changing recovery protocols across the world. These protocols have improved length of stay. These protocols have also improved patient satisfaction, and there's evidence beginning to show that they reduce complications after surgery. In this same period of context was the fact that socioeconomic and racial disparities exist in particular surgical diseases. If you look at the enhanced recovery after surgery pathways that have been published in the literature, much of this came out of the European experience where populations are more homogeneous. Here in the US, with a more racially and socioeconomic diverse population, the question of how those subgroups are affected by enhanced recovery after surgery pathways is not well understood. We used our experience here at a US institution with an enhanced recovery after surgery pathway that was first started in 2014 to look at those differences in more detail. Our hypothesis was that there's one of three effects. First, that enhanced recovery after surgery pathways are beneficial to subgroup populations, in fact disproportionately beneficial, because such standardized care actually standardized processes across the board, improving the needs of subgroups that are oftentimes overlooked by the healthcare system. Alternatively, that enhanced recovery after surgery pathways are actually detrimental to subgroups, particularly vulnerable subgroups of the population, because these subgroups require tailored care that's not well suited to a standardized pathway. And then third, the null hypothesis that there is no effect. We combined our internal NISQIP data with our internal process improvement data following ERAS process adherence measures. And we found that across short-term surgical outcomes followed by our NISQIP data, there was no difference by subgroups. But at the same time, we did find that the process measure adherence did vary by subgroups. Specifically, some examples include that among non-white patients, there was a much lower likelihood of having an epidural or a tap block administered as part of their colorectal surgery. Similarly, for low socioeconomic status, there was much lower likelihood of a patient having received their carbohydrate-rich fluids before their operation. This mismatch between the short-term surgical outcomes being no different and the process measures suggesting some degree of difference raised our concern that the process measures may be an early warning sign of subclinical differences that need to be further explored. We've used these findings as a way of targeting potential processes that we have in place for administering epidurals, and how the patients are both consented for those as well as counseled for those, in the hopes that identifying any potential implicit bias or other care mechanism that may be causing those differences. We believe these findings suggest that there is further opportunities for process measures to be used in this way to monitor further quality interventions, particularly with a concern for difference by subgroups of the population.